Today I want to show you how to use my favorite TCG platform in Europe. As you may know, I have heavily invested in Pokémon TCG a while back, and since then I have been basically investing more and more and adjusting my portfolio. During December, I made a purchase of a couple binders in hopes that I would find a hidden gem or two. Spoiler alert, I did find them, but then I remained with a lot of bulk that I have no use for. Let me give you a view of how they look like. So basically this place is filled with plenty of bulk, right? I don't have any card boxes and stuff, so I just put them in a shoebox and I'm happy with it. And I have a couple more here inside an elite, not an elite, but a battle stadium one, and then I have a couple more here. These are the ones that are hollow and reverse hollow, and I've sleeved these, but I didn't really sleeve the common ones. But anyway, after I purchased all of these products and I remained with the bulk, I had a couple of choices. I can also sell to someone else as a bundle, so just in bulk, right? And potentially I could charge 80% maybe of what I got, or whatever. Maybe I could even charge the same money, right? Which I did try, but it seems like it's a little bit more difficult to sell in bulk in this way, because nobody wants to give a big amount of money on unknown products, right? Typically people that are collecting these products, they're looking for certain items, and if they can't get those, then, or they're not guaranteed to get those, they don't want to really take a chance, which is fine for me. So anyway, and the other choice was basically to use another platform to sell these cards one by one. So if somebody wanted a certain card, maybe I could charge more than it would be if that card was in a bundle, right? And then they could just get that one single card. And while I was looking for the platforms to do this, I came across Cardmarket in Europe. So as I mentioned previously, I'm based in Sweden, so I can use eBay and such, but it's just not, for me, it hasn't really worked out that well. There are a couple other websites that are that can be used, but they are more generic. Like you can sell many things there, right? So the Pokemon cards or just TCG cards in general, it's not a heavily focused there. Therefore, a lot of people that would want to buy the cards would not go there, because it's very difficult to filter on what you want to buy and such. So here's basically where Cardmarket comes in, where they opened a TCG market where most of the filters will work according to what you're looking for. So you can filter by expansion, by release date and stuff like that. And of course, there's many more that we will get into. But yeah, you can basically go in here and take a look at what TCG you want to sell and buy from, so which franchise. And once you choose those, basically whatever you search will be only within the franchise itself. So let's say right now we have chosen Pokemon. So if I write here, I don't know, Dark Magician or something like that, I'm not going to have the Yu-Gi-Oh thing appear, basically. That's the point, right? But yeah, and other things you can buy are, you can choose the products that you want to buy. So you can actually buy sealed products just as well as singles, and you can even buy bundles sometimes, right? Like sets, accessories, and all of these kind of things. Let me give you an example. So let's assume that you want to buy, I don't know, this card over here, right? Once you get in here, you will have many offers from many sellers. So you can see that, some cards are like 2 cents, literally. Some are 45 cents. You can choose whatever you want. And if there is no picture attached, then you can ask the seller to send you a picture to see how, what's the status of the item. But again, typically they put the condition here, but I wouldn't, I myself, I don't really trust this, in the sense that if they say it's near mint for an older card, I'm very doubtful typically, so I will ask for a picture. But there is a certain way that you can also put pictures in here as a seller. I will show you in a second. There is a limit to the pictures you can put, in the sense that you need to have a minimum value of €1 so that you can put a picture. So for example, this person here, they put a picture of the item. As you can see, this is a real picture of the item that this person is selling. So in case in which they did not put it here, you can actually just, message them and you can ask them. Yeah. Otherwise, you can also sell. So for example, I'm a seller on Cardmarket. You need to actually be eligible to become a seller, but it is a very straightforward and simple process. It just takes a couple of days because they need to wire some money into your bank, but we will talk about this later. So let's say I have, I don't know, 5 of these cards. One of the negative things, I guess, is that if you have multiple of one product, they don't allow you to put a picture, which, you know, to a certain degree makes sense. You could take a picture of all 5 of them, but then, you know, when the buyer decides to purchase from you, they wouldn't know which is which. So they basically tell you something similar to, you know, just say that I have, I don't know, 5 of this item, let's say, and then whenever the buyer wants to purchase, if they want a specific one, then you can, you know, handle that via messaging and stuff. And if they don't specify it, then you just send whichever you prefer to sell. So let's assume that I have 5 of these products, and I don't know, I can choose whatever language it is. Generally, most of the products I have are English. Then I can choose the condition. There is a guide on like what is the condition of the card. You can choose near mint, mint, excellent, good, and stuff. Most of the older products I have within these boxes, basically, I put them as excellent because they are actually in very good condition, but there may be a couple of things, and I believe it is much better to be safe than sorry. So I just put them as excellent, and in case in which the person wants more details about the product, I can just, you know, send them a picture and stuff. And if they don't care and they buy an excellent, then there's a chance that, you know, a little bit of whitening might exist there, which is fine. Or at least from my experience, it has been fine. Then you leave a comment. Some people like to write, you know, hey, this was from, you know, I opened the pack and then it went to the sleeve. Some people just don't write anything. And some people actually, since this place does not have a like a specific market for slabs or anything like that, you can actually write a comment there that the product that you're selling is a slab and it has been graded, basically. So, for example, I have stuff like this, you know, like I write PSA 10 gem mint. And then there are a couple other things that I use, but I will show you all of these things. Once you put a price on the product, like let's say I want to put it for €1, right? And then you can actually choose an image as well. And then you can attach the image and then it will show exactly how it was down there. And this is basically how you list a product. And then whenever you get orders, you basically get instructions on how to fulfill it. But I will show you that section as well. But let's talk about how you would actually purchase a product here, right? So as I mentioned, you would go in here and like, let's say, let's put this one in our cart. Once you put it in the cart, choose your method for shipping. You can either have it non-tracked, so with no tracking, or you can have it tracked. I would always recommend having tracked, but there's an inherent issue with this, right? Because let's say you want to buy a card for 2 cents, then you're gonna have a shipping for 10.85 euro. You know, that is a ridiculous amount of money for such a you know, tiny card. And this is why I always recommend that people buy in bulk. So I don't think that you should go in here and buy these products, you know, one by one, unless you want to buy something that is hefty in value. So let's go, for example, to my offers. Let's choose the most expensive. What do I have here? So I have a Charizard. That is a PSA 10. As you can see, it's 319 euro. So if I actually go in here and I choose something similar to, let's say, for example, I want this one, it's PSA 9. If I add that one here, you're going to see that the track letter, for example, is 7.6. It depends from region to region, right? So this seller, for example, is from Spain. Therefore, it seems like the shipping is a little bit less there. Then you pay a certain amount of money for basically some sort of insurance, right? Basically, they're just trying to tell you that in case in which this card does not arrive to you, they will refund you the money back. And for that, they take a fee. You could basically consider that as some sort of insurance. And honestly, for 170 euro to pay only 1.7 euro and have that insurance is, in my opinion, excellent. I will show you later on a couple other platforms where you can sell, but I will also tell you why I prefer not selling on those other websites. It's typically related to the fees, but we'll get there when we get there. So let's assume that you have already selected your preferred shipping method, and then you already have the product in mind. Now you have to pay, right? But in order to be able to pay on this platform, they don't really tell you this at first, but you need to put credit into your account. I will show you how you do that and give you an idea on how that works. So when you actually go into this credit section, you can choose 3 methods to basically put credit into your account. You can either have instant, but then you have to pay fees, and we will get to how those fees actually work. Or you can do a wire transfer basically, but it takes a little bit of time. Let's assume that you want to buy a card today, right? The nice part about Cardmarket is they don't force you to pay immediately as you purchase it. Basically, when you press purchase on an item, they give you 7 days to pay for the item. And that makes it so that you can choose whichever model here that you want. Typically, or at least from my experience, whenever you purchase the item, they mention that they're going to give you the days, and then on that day, basically, you can transfer it to your account if you want to. And by account, I mean here, into your Cardmarket account. And if not, then, of course, if you want it like real fast, shipped fast and stuff like that, you can do that also like this. And I'll show you how this works. So let's assume that we want to put, I don't know, €100 into my account here. Once you say submit, it will give you how much it will actually cost you. So in order to have €100 worth of credit inside my account, I'm going to need to pay 105 and 35 cents. So in my opinion, try to avoid these. And my understanding is that these are the fees that they have to pay for these payment processors. But what I understand is they don't need to pay for this. Therefore, as it's written, it's free of charge. So you just do the bank transfer, and in order to do the bank transfer, basically, they tell you all the details. From my experience, it took me about 2 to 3 working days, just as they say here, so up to 3 working days. And yeah, I think it's a better alternative than just, giving that 5% plus 35 cents. But yeah, if you want to become a seller, I think there's supposed to be some button here right now. Because I'm a seller, I can't see that. But it's a very simple method. You basically just say that you want to be selling, and then they're gonna ask you for some information, such as your ID number and then some of your details, because obviously they need that information to be able to credit you and such. Not only that, they also need you to confirm your bank account. And the way that they do that is you give them your bank account, then they wire a certain amount of money into your account, typically in cents, and then they ask you how much was actually credited to your account. So in this case, like it could be, I don't know, 17 cents and then 15 cents, or 5 cents and 9 cents, or something similar to that. And then they will ask you how much was the first one and how much was the second one. I think that's a very good way to verify your account, especially because this platform is available within many countries in Europe, and they all have different standards, right? So it only makes sense that they needed to come up with a solution that would be applicable to all these places. But yeah, anyway, what do I like about this platform? Well, I think it's great to be able to purchase from other countries within Europe without having to bother changing, the websites and the languages and stuff like that. And one other reason that I really, really like this one is it kind of gives you a clearer picture on what is the market for certain products in Europe. Like, let's take a look at a new product. So let's say I want to see the products from Prismatic Evolutions, right? So I'll go to singles, and then I'm going to write the expansion. I'm going to write Prismatic. Sometimes this doesn't really work, but anyway, I just wrote P, and then I got to Prismatic Evolutions. I just chose this, and I want to see the most expensive cards. Like, let's see how that's going to work out. I'm going to put it in the grid view because I like to see the images of the products that I want to purchase. So right now, you can't really choose the language, as you can see, for the cards. So these prices that you see, they may be in another language, and they probably are. I don't believe that this product, for example, is starting from €57. But let's take a look. So if I go to, like right now, I already had a pre-filter, right? Let's see, typically the filter is like this, like you can say clear, actually. Okay, you can see that, for example, there's an Italian card for €57, which if the price of a product is too suspicious, it's probably too good to be true. Even if this is an Italian, like look at these guys, they are selling these products for €180. This is very suspicious, especially because it's from a person who does not even have any sales. I would avoid this. That is what I would do. That's my tip for you for today. But anyway, Let's assume that we want this card in English and we want it in minimum near mint condition. If you filter that, you will see that this product has been can be purchased for 197 euro. And if you look here, you can actually see a real picture. And if you want to see, for example, the back or more pictures, you can always ask. And as you can see, actually, this person even wrote in their description, ask for more photo, right? Let's go to the US pricing for this. Let's go to TCG Player. And let's try to identify this card. I'm just going to write Flare and EX Prismatic. Hopefully it will show up. Yeah, there you go. So the US pricing says that this card is worth about $250, right? But here I can purchase it for this much. I mean, I can clearly see that many other people are selling it for these prices. But as you can see, they're selling for even more, right? But it kind of gives you an idea on what is the, like, how much people are willing to let it go for. Now, from my experience, all of the products that I have sold so far, this is my public profile. So as you can see, I have made one purchase with this account. I had another account previously that I used to purchase stuff with, but then I wanted to become a seller, and for some reason, it just, whenever I wanted to have the bank transfer done, it did not work. So I just asked them to close that account, and I opened a new one. And as you can see, that's why it says that I'm a member since November, basically. Anyway, I made one purchase with this, and I made 10 sales. And as you can see, my overall evaluation is 100% good. If I go to my sales individually, you can see here, I'm going to have to blur some of these things out. I don't know if you noticed it already, but you know, like the names and the stuff, the buyers. I just want to give you an idea of like what happened basically. So let's take a look at this example here. What happened is this person ordered all of these cards from me in new mint condition. Most of these had pictures. This one, for example, did not have a picture. Presumably, I did not have the time to put it on. Like it sold so quick, you know. But anyway, I had taken all of the pictures for these products, and then I sold them at the given time. These are very nice cards, by the way. I really liked these, but yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, you gotta let things go. But anyway, basically, I got paid this amount in total, with the shipping included. Then the one thing that I kind of dislike about Cardmarket is you have to book your own shipping. So they pay you the money, but then you need to go and actually book it yourself. In my experience, I have been using PostNord, so the Sweden's national post, and the prices kind of are exactly as they pay you, but sometimes they are more and sometimes they are less. For example, in this particular case, this was a tracked one, so it did not cost me actually 11.68 euro, but I think it costed me somewhere around 11 euro. So I actually even made money on the cents here. But then whenever I had a smaller order in another one, I actually had to pay, let's say, you know, 11 euro. But then because it was only one card, they assumed that the weight would be less. Therefore, they gave me 10.5. And I had to actually cover that. So I'm going to say that you will win some, you will lose some. In like most of the time, you will probably average out to equal amount that you actually needed to pay for the shipping, right? You get an order, then you need to, once it is paid, they ask you to ship it. Basically, you have about 7 days to ship. Then you just pack based on their guidelines here, how to pack cards and selling and shipping and stuff like that. And once all of that is done, you provide the tracking number. And once you provide the tracking number, they will allow you to basically confirm that you have shipped the product, right? And it is good because, you know, this person can also from their side see the tracking code and everything. So yeah, this is the platform itself. I think it's a very good platform for benchmarking what is the price in Europe and stuff like that. And not only that, but it's just, you know, you can see what is the trend for certain things. Like I was wondering a couple days back, I wanted to purchase a Brilliant Stars booster box, and I wanted to see, like, am I getting a good deal, am I getting a bad deal? I just didn't know what I was getting. I think it was somewhere around 215 euro or something similar to that. And then I saw that in the minimum price here was 220 plus 15 ship. So 235. And I was able to get it for 215 here without the shipping. With the shipping included. And I just noticed like, hey, that's a good deal. Honestly, at this point, I didn't even look at the US pricing. I didn't even look at what it was, because it's like, why does it matter, right? If these people are selling for this price, and there's so many of them, right? It's not like, we're not talking about only one person selling, right? This is how also in the US, this is how they set the market, but it kind of differs from the EU market. Therefore, you need to take that into consideration. So let's say we're going with Brilliant Stars booster box. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at this price. In in terms of US pricing, I got an amazing deal for 215, right? Overall, I think that Cardmarket is a great platform for you to be able to sell your bulk, your sealed products, your singles. From my experience, it has been nothing but positive. I have been selling quite often, and I have been selling like good amounts as well, as I showed you. Oh, I got another sale actually. That's amazing. Look at that. But let's see, what did they buy? They bought an SV2A, Venusaur, and Blastoise. Amazing deal, right? This person is paying around 16 euro for shipping and around 256 overall. This is the money that I will be getting paid. Then I will need to book the shipping. And once this is done, of course, there's the seller's fee, which is 5%. Not sure if I mentioned that or not, but 5% is so much better than some other platforms. There was a previous platform that I used that I used to sell my Game Boys. If you've seen my other videos, I repair Game Boys and I resell them as well. And that platform basically takes about 10% fee from the seller. And they also ask for the buyer to pay like somewhere around 5 to 10% range for buyer's protection fee. Let's assume you sold something for 200 euro, right? They're going to get 20 euro from you. So what's going to happen as a seller is you're going to receive 180 for the thing that you sold. Then the buyer will also need to pay for buyer's protection. And typically, as I mentioned, is 5 to 10%, right? That means that they're going to, instead of paying 200, they're going to pay 210 or 220 euro. If you actually pay attention to this, you will realize that from a 200 euro transaction in between you and the buyer, they're gonna basically make a profit of 30 to 40 euro. That is like 20% of the transaction. In my opinion, that is insane. Like, I do understand they have to work with the transaction fees and all of that, because you can pay with your card and they need to do all of those things. But with the from my experience at least, most of the time it is just better to just talk to the person and see whether they have some references that they can give you, just like in this platform. Honestly, like, you go there and you see that they have many sales, right? And you can see that some people leave recommendations or comments or stuff. And like, I don't know why things have to be so complicated. I don't understand why we need to involve third parties that are constantly basically draining us of our money. But yeah, this is one of the, in my opinion, this is one of the better platforms where you can do this. I'm not really sure how much money this person paid in the trustee service or whatever it is. Probably, I think it was like 1% for us last time. So if they would pay 1%, that would be like 2.4 euro. Imagine that, like, 1% versus 5 to 10%. That's insane amount of money if you buy a lot of things. But yeah, that's it for me now. I think I will talk more about this in the future. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please feel free to subscribe and give me a like. I like to do content like this where I just speak to the camera and just spill out all the knowledge out of my brain, basically, and whatever I've done. I want to show you in some of my next videos. I want to show you some of the products that I have. So all of those boxes there are basically the investments that I did, and I kind of want to have an honest conversation on why I invested in certain products and why I got some other ones, and what am I looking forward and stuff like that. So if you're into investing, just tag along. All right. See you guys.